Conversations, podcast program organized by Manufacturing Today, premium magazine that covers manufacturing sector. Today we have Mr. Aseem Joshi, CEO of GMM Pfaudler, and he will illuminate us on GMM Pfaudler's path towards digital transformation in both its operations and offerings. Thank you, Mr. Aseem, for your time.
Thank you.
So, to begin with, can you provide us an overview of GMM Pfaudler and its core products and services?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me on this. I think it's a great initiative by Manufacturing Today. Yes, GMM Pfaudler has a very long legacy. We are a company that actually was started almost 140 years ago in the US, where Caspar Pfaudler invented glass-lined steel. Right? And this technology has applications in a lot of corrosion resistance applications.
Okay.
We've grown from there. Glass-lined products continue to be our core. But in addition to that, we have a number of other products that meet the requirements of our chemical, pharmaceutical, and process industry customers. We go to market through 8 brands that cover filtration, drying, alloy equipment, sealing technologies, and really a whole range of others, including mixing as well. Our objective is to understand our customers' needs and provide them with cutting-edge technology solutions.
Okay, so what sets apart you from the competitors? Because there are a lot of players in this area.
Yeah, so I would say there's 3 things. The first is our technology leadership and our reputation, really, of being a technology leader over a century. Right? So that's not something that a lot of companies can claim to have maintained, and we certainly have.
Okay.
On that foundation, we have built now a global network. We are the only company in our industry that has a significant manufacturing presence in all the important manufacturing areas, which is North America, Europe, India, and China.
Okay.
So we are uniquely positioned to be able to meet our customers' needs really wherever they are. And then finally, service. Service is, of course, very important. And we have, I'm really happy to say, we've taken a lot of time and energy and effort to invest in our service capabilities. So we are there when customers need us, and they of course do need us when the customer is a chemical manufacturer.
Okay, so the entire industry has embraced digital transformation when it comes to Industry 4.0 or embracing Gen AI. So how has your organization embraced digital transformation in its operations and the offerings that you give?
Yeah, so look, I think the word digital transformation is often used to cover a range of things and sometimes misused. So let me explain how we approach digital transformation, right? So the way we look at it is, first, to achieve a digital transformation, you need to have a foundation of data, right? And thankfully, in an industry like ours, there's actually a lot of data coming out of the manufacturing systems, out of the sales systems, HR systems, etc. You also need to have people that are capable and willing to use it, which means your executives, your middle management, as well as a core of employees who know how to use data, who are sort of digitally native in that sense, right? And the third is you need a good strategy, right? A strategy on how you use this data and how you employ it for the benefit of our customers and for the company, right? Now, once you've seen that you have data, and we've certainly went through that exercise, right? There are 3 stages in deploying a digital strategy as per our approach, right? And we've been very purposeful in our approach to digitization.
Okay.
So the first step is to adopt digital tools, right? Which is making sure this is the nuts and bolts stuff. Do you have a CRM for your sales force? Do you have an ERP in manufacturing, right? Basic stuffs, but you have to make sure that's there. Now, thankfully, in GMM Pfaudler, we've been a leader in this space. We've adopted digital tools really several years ago, and certainly in our industry, much earlier than many of our peers. The second step then comes in figuring out how to use these tools to re-engineer your business processes to really drive efficiency, right? Maybe productivity or really cost reduction. I'll give you a couple of examples of this, right? So in our service business, in our service delivery, we have a situation where customers, if they have a breakdown, they call us, right? And we have to go there and repair it. Now, in the past, the call would come, we'd figure out who's available, send that person, and they'd repair it in whatever time, come back, right?
Sure.
If they needed parts, etc. Now, that's good. Now, you can do that for 10 calls, 20 calls, and have a good feel of what's going on. But when you're at GMM Pfaudler scale, right, where we have hundreds of calls because we have a global install base of tens of thousands of equipment, you have to know how well you're servicing your customers, right? So in adopting digital technologies, we have deployed a service app, right? Now for our industry, that is quite innovative. In other industries, several other industries have done this before, but this app essentially allows our service technicians to know when a call comes in. They're pre-armed with what the issue the customer facing is, and when they go to the customer, they are already prepared with what they need to check. So they're not starting blank saying, hey, what's the problem? They walk in saying, sir, such and such a reactor has such and such an issue. Let me check it. He already knows the part availability, right? And we can also then track how quickly we can close it, right? So this kind of usage of data and embedding digital into our processes is something that we take very as a priority, because it really affects the way we deliver our service or our product to our customers, right?
Okay.
And then the third step of strategy, I just want to close out, is to find whether there's new revenue streams coming out of digitization. Now, this is an area that I think a lot of companies are trying to figure out. We have a couple of ideas that we are tossing about, and I do expect that in the next year or two, we should be able to launch something where we actually get new business from digitization.
So, have you faced any key challenges that in the field of process equipment, and how are you addressing these challenges? Because adopting digital technology is a slow process. Not everyone does it. So, what are the challenges that you have faced?
As GMM Pfaudler or our customers?
Both.
Okay, so I mean, as GMM Pfaudler in adopting digitization, look, it's certainly a journey. First, the recognition that this is a journey and not something that you get done in 2 months. That's really important, because I think about 5 years ago in India, this digitization buzz started and it really picked up, right? And a lot of people assume that we get a couple of consultants, we do a digitization initiative and you're done, right? I think first recognizing that as a senior leadership, that it's a journey is the first step. The second, as I mentioned earlier, figuring out your data streams, having good data is really critical. Oftentimes, if you haven't paid attention to your data, you have a lot of garbled data where you spend a lot of time cleaning it. So making sure you've got solid data is really important. And as I mentioned, then up-leveling sort of the team to be able to go digital is really important. So there has to be a pull for digital. There has to be a willingness to adopt it. And it's certainly something that is driven from the top. It also has to be something that is adopted sort of broadly across the organization. The last bit I would touch on is selection of the right digital solutions.
Okay.
It sometimes is confusing what digital solution you should adopt, because when you talk to vendors, they have a wide range of solutions, and of course, figuring out the right solution that fits your requirements is really important.
Yeah.
It can be it's quite easy to buy a very large solution and you're using 10% of it. I've often talked to my colleagues in other industries who feel they've spent too much energy in such things. So getting this right is critical. So you really, as a leader, have to invest your own time and energy to understand and then drive the digitization strategy.
Okay. How has the Indian manufacturing sector adopted to it?
Yeah, I think, look, I can talk about the chemical and pharmaceutical sector because that's the primary space that we serve. Of course, other segments of industry may be ahead or behind, right? Now, traditionally, the pharma sector and chemicals is quite conservative. So if a process is set up and working, we're not in a hurry to change it, right? Because you have good product coming out and you don't want to mess around with that. However, I see a lot of the leading industry players, who are all our customers, they certainly are focused on digitization. Of course, all of them have the fundamentals in place already, the ERPs, etc.
Okay.
But figuring out how to take the next level where you further optimize your product, right? They're spending a lot of time on that. Now, in order to do that, you have to know your process parameters very, very intimately, in the sense that if a product's in a reactor for a few hours, you want to know what temperature and pressure it's been at, what pH it's had. There might be other process parameters throughout that life cycle, throughout the duration in the reactor. And GMM Pfaudler has worked to develop a whole range of sensors, glass line sensors, that can enable these kind of data to be captured.
Okay.
So we work closely with our customers on the sensing part of it. And of course, our customers are adopting, other than ERPs, of course, there's SCADA systems and various control systems. So they are certainly the leading ones are well along their digitization journeys.
Okay. When we talk about digital transformation or adopting digital technologies, the next thing that comes is sustainability, because we talk about digital and sustainability in the same breath sometimes.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on GMM Pfaudler sustainability initiatives and how it aligns with your business strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to start off on this because when I came to GMM Pfaudler, I was surprised. I took a download of what our assets are, what's in our factories, etc. And the finance person said, so we have a set of windmills on the coast of Gujarat. So interestingly, before sustainability became cool and the buzzword, GMM Pfaudler had invested in a number of windmills on the coast of Gujarat for about 27 years ago, right? We, of course, in addition to the wind farm, we also have a 1 megawatt solar installation in our flagship factory in Karamsad, Gujarat. And that installation's been around for several years as well. Right? So really, it's something that our promoters and management have really adopted long before this became something that's pushed by the industry. Now, I'll talk about sustainability in our operations, which we strive to do every day, but also in our products, so that'll explain how our products and services help our customers meet their sustainability commitments. So first, in our operations, I talked about the energy side already. Right? From a water perspective as well, we are very careful with our water consumption, and we are also a zero discharge facility. So whatever water we use is sort of recycled in or used for gardening, right? In Karamsad, and we're in two of our acquired factories in Hyderabad and in Vatva. We're striving to get there as well. They're much smaller factories, but we're striving to get there as well. As far as our products are concerned, I'll start off with, first of all, our core glass-lined equipment. Our glass-lined equipment, the way it's designed and manufactured, it tends to last anywhere between 20, 30, sometimes 40, 50% longer than other equipment. So right there, you have a situation where a customer can get much more use out of that equipment and thereby not having to replace that equipment as often, right? So in that sense, there's an inherent sustainability in the product we make. But more importantly, some of our new product ranges that we've come up with, our mixing business, right? We've really invested in our ability to design our agitators or mixers in a way that customers can reduce the energy consumption in order to achieve the end goal. So let's say there is a reactor where they're mixing a certain amount of product in there. If you design your agitator well, which GMM Pfaudler really focuses on, you can really reduce the energy used to achieve that level of mixing. And we have studies done where, again, we've achieved 30 to 40% reduction in the amount of energy input. Right? And then finally, I'd just like to give one other example of our acid concentration or acid recovery business. We recognize that inorganic acids are a part of the process for many of our customers. You have concentrated acid at the beginning, and then at the end, at the end of the line, you get a diluted acid that has several solvents, water, some other items mixed in it. Now, GMM Pfaudler has the technology that enables customers to recycle this. So we take the spent acid stream, we filter it, clean it, and then concentrate it back up to the original 98, 99% concentrate level. And thus, they can then use that product back in their stream, avoiding discharge to the environment or some other disposal means, and really making a virtue out of something that was a waste product. Right? So throughout our products and our operations, we are really focused on driving sustainability and in a meaningful manner.
Okay. So when it comes to the customer, they are well aware of what is available globally. So how have you adapted to the changing market dynamics and the customer demands?
Yeah, I think here too, GMM Pfaudler has really been a leader. You're right. Customers in India in particular are, of course, very well aware of their options, and they're also very demanding about latest technologies and having the right price for the products. So GMM Pfaudler's strategy, if you look at our company over the last 5 years, we've done 8 acquisitions of various companies, right? Where we've brought core technology into the group.
Okay.
Right? And we've also invested in manufacturing most of those technologies in India as well. So through this combination of global technology and global know-how, but manufactured in India, we have the ability to bring really world-class products to our customers at a price that is very attractive, since we can manufacture it in India.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one way that we have ensured or focused on getting the right solutions to our customers. We believe customers will continue to demand more and more such solutions. And so, in addition to the acquisitions we have done, we are also focused on innovating new products. I'm happy to say we have a good innovation team set up within the company, and they are now working on bringing new products, new features to our customers based on customer feedback.
Okay. Since you mentioned about innovations, so could you discuss any recent innovations or advancement that you have added into your product portfolio?
Sure. There's quite a few. If I look back, we have quite a tradition of innovation in glass line equipment. Now I'm going back a long way, but that'll just set the context. We invented glass lined technologies, of course, but we didn't stop there 140 years ago. Since then, various types of glass that suit various customer requirements, pharma glass, abrasion resistant glass, anti-static glass. There's a whole range. Are new innovations that GMM Pfaudler brought to the market, right?
Okay.
Now, beyond the glass line equipment, I'll just give you a couple of examples of things we've done in our mixing business and in our filtration and drying business, right? Just as to give you a sense of what's going on. In our mixing business, a few years ago, we partnered with leading Indian government institutes to come up with a new technology for dispersing hydrogen or any gas through a liquid. Right? So that requires a design of an agitator that really optimizes how quickly a gas can be mixed into a fluid. Right? Okay. So it's a little technical, but really there we were very encouraged with the results we got in terms of improvements in process, how quickly the dispersion could happen.
Great.
On the filtration and drying side, we developed a couple of new products. In fact, right now there is, we've launched and there's webinars going on for a continuous filtration system that we've come up with. Continuous filtration is something we see as a solution that more and more customers will need in time to come. And we have a solution now that's developed and built in India.
Okay.
And so there are several other products that we're currently developing. So I feel pretty confident that you'll see many more such products come out from our labs in India.
Okay, you mentioned about a team focusing on innovation. So are they based in India?
Yes.
Or?
So the way we've got our teams is we have centers of excellence, right? So for glass, our center of excellence is in Frankfurt. For acid as well, they're in Frankfurt. For other technologies like wiped film evaporation, they're in North America. What we have in India is a innovation team that's working on driving new features for filter dryers, for mixers, and then certain other innovations working with our colleagues in these centers of excellence. So that's how it's set up. But we do have a team that is based in India.
Okay. So considering that you have a global presence, so how do you ensure consistent quality and customer satisfaction across the regions?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Because in the past, we had various units, but they weren't necessarily very tightly coordinated. And that's a change we've brought in since GMM Pfaudler bought Pfaudler International. We have worked hard over the last 3.5, 4 years since we bought Pfaudler to ensure that we have a consistent manufacturing process. So we've actually had teams flying back and forth across factories. Germany is sort of is probably our best in class sort of recognized factory, and Karamsad is also almost up there, where we've standardized how we produce equipment, right? From the smallest process of how you fire the equipment, how you spray the glass, etc. So from a manufacturing process standpoint now, we are quite consistent. From a quality management process as well, we're working towards getting a 100% consistent system in place. And from a customer service as well, which is of course what matters a lot to customers. Again, because of the investments we've done, we now have an ability to sort of not only be best in class, best in the industry, but to have a consistent process in terms of how we deliver service to our customers as well. So this is, I would say, a journey again. I feel good that we've made significant progress, but there's a lot more to be done on this aspect.
So when we talk about advancements in digital technologies and in various processes, there is a certain amount of skilling that is required.
Yes.
What is your approach to talent development and employee engagement when it comes to fostering innovation and continuous improvement?
I mean, you're absolutely right. You have to continue to not only attract the best talent, but keep developing them so they remain the best in leading an industry. And particularly in the manufacturing sector, that is often a challenge that many companies face. Our approach to this has been twofold. One is, of course, try and attract the best talent. And thankfully there with our brand, with our broad presence, that is inherently attractive to a large number of good candidates, right? So we don't have too much trouble finding good candidates. Once they're in, we are really focused on developing them. So there are several HR programs in place where we identify talent, do development centers, and then figure out development IDPs, individual development plans, etc. for them. Coaching, etc. is institutionalized in the company. At lower levels in the organization as well, in the past we had something called a Swiss vet program, which was where we took our workers who may have had an ITI kind of a training, but really got them multi-skilled with trainers from Switzerland. So there are some workers we have who are, who can do a lot of different manufacturing processes and at extremely high levels of proficiency. And that has really helped us, as we continue to be the quality leader and technology leader in our factory manufacturing operations. We have some really, really strong contributors as well. And then finally, from a culture standpoint, again, this is important for a company like GMM Pfaudler that's transforming rapidly. We do an annual survey, we call it Parivartan, where we get candid feedback. And that's run very rigorously because as we get feedback, there's also actions that we drive coming out of that feedback, right? That's just as an example of how seriously we take this aspect of employee engagement, culture, and generally employee well-being in the company.
You have been able to do the digital transformation journey quite smoothly in your own company.
Well,
do you offer your services to other companies in terms of learning towards digital transformation?
So first of all, the transformation is an ongoing journey and there's always bumps along the way. I do feel we have progressed quite well. And I'm certainly happy to have conversations. We always on industry forums, there's always occasions to talk about digital transformation, share notes, and we certainly engage on such fora. Okay.
So India as a market, one is Make in India initiative, and how are the government initiatives helped an MNC like GMM Pfaudler develop or rather innovate products in India? That is one. And how do you feel India as a market has developed?
So look, I think in the last 8 or 10 years, the government's focus on growing manufacturing has certainly been a breath of fresh air across the board, right? Because manufacturing is 15, 16, maybe 17% of our GDP, and shrinking over time. And so I think this government's recognition that needs to change and their ability to take concrete steps to address that has really been a breath of fresh air. I think for our customers, the PLI schemes, which have really driven investment in specific sectors, has helped. We are an indirect beneficiary of some of those because as our customers have invested in the PLI schemes, they've needed equipment and they've come to GMM Pfaudler. Okay. Right? Like the fermentation focus to get penicillin made in India. That is certainly something that many of our customers, 3 of our customers have invested in and they've bought equipment from us. But I would say more broadly, the push for manufacturing, certainly in pharmaceuticals and especially in chemicals in the last 8 or 10 years, has certainly benefited GMM Pfaudler. Right? We used to be what a 500-600 crore company not long ago, and now globally we are a roughly 3,700 crore company. Of course, a large part of that is through acquisitions, but the organic portion also has grown very very well, and it's in no small measure due to the push that we have seen and the growth we've seen in our customer segments.
Okay. So, what could you share any future plans or strategic initiatives that you are looking at?
Well, we often talk as a leadership team about what's next. Roughly once a month, we review our progress, and from this roughly 3,700 crore, we've got a journey mapped out where we, of course, expect to continue on a double-digit growth path. Right now, our focus is on making sure that we meet our customers' needs across the globe. We've got a lot of work to do right now to integrate the acquisitions and ensure that all the synergies that we've targeted we can get out. But we will continue to look for growth opportunities across the world. Specifically, right now, the mixing business, which we have talked about, 2 recent acquisitions on the back of a healthy mixing business in India, is a focus area. Happy to share that we've announced a general manager for that business who will drive the business globally.
Okay.
So he's based in Europe, but he has oversight of the global business, right? And so I think that kind of a model is one in which you can really drive growth meaningfully, because you can really leverage the benefits of global know-how, global manufacturing to meet customer needs wherever they are. So a lot of more interesting stuff. So watch this space.
Okay. Thank you, Aseem. Thank you for your time, and thank you for giving us an insight into what your organization's digital transformation journey is.